Welcome back to Nitah Crochets. My name is Anita. Today we are making this very simple stitch pattern that I found. I made for this crop sweater. A client sent me a picture of a crop sweater that she wanted, so I figured I need to find a crochet stitch that would fit the sweater and make it look a little bit neat, just like in the picture right there that I'm sharing. So this is what I made of the sweater, and this is the stitch pattern that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. First of all, thank you for the love you have shown this fringe top. I am making a pattern for it, and the mesh fringe top, the tutorial is already on my channel, okay, this one right here, and I'm also having its pattern already on my shop, so you can purchase the pattern. Now for this tutorial, I want to use pink because I find that this color is actually too bright, as you can see, and I feel like I've tried to dim the light, and I feel like maybe you'll not be seeing what I am doing, so I'm choosing to use pink. So this is Robin, it's 100% acrylic, and I'm going to be using 2 strands. All right, as you can see on the label, it is 50 grams, okay, so it is medium lightweight yarn, so I'm just going to be doubling my strands so I can get some sort of like gauge. Okay, now I have 2 hooks, but let me first show you my sweater. This is how it looks, okay, and this stitch pattern actually gives us a very good stretch, as you can see. And also if you look up here closely, that is how it looks like. And you can notice just a slight difference with the knit sweater in the picture right there, so you can see how it looks like. The gapping is up to you. The holes can be slightly bigger or smaller given the hook size you work with, the size of the hook that you work with, okay, or how many like modifications you make with the stitch pattern. When I landed this stitch pattern, I made sure that I changed a few things about it because my client didn't want big holes for her sweater, so I made a few changes, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys. Okay, I'm just going to share with you this of the small gapping, but still I'll give you a difference of how it looks with bigger gaps, so you can like see what you want to have for your sweater or for whichever thing that you're going to use this stitch pattern for. So let me put the sweater away, and then we get started on how we can get to learn how to make this open shell stitch pattern. Okay, now for my yarn, I'm going to double my strands like I said, and then I'm going to be working with I have 2 hooks. I have a 3.5mm hook. I worked the sweater with a 3.5mm hook, and I'm going to be working this tutorial with a 4.5mm hook. This is going to actually give us the difference, that like physical difference that you guys can look at and be like, okay, when I'm working such and such a project, let me choose this hook size for this stitch pattern. I hope that is going to be helpful. Okay, so to start with, as you can see, I'm using a 4.5mm hook, but the sweater was worked with a 3.5mm hook. So let's work this piece, then you can see the difference. Now I'm going to make a slip knot, okay, and I'm just going to make a small piece. Okay, so for my small piece, this stitch pattern actually works in sets of 4. All right, sets of 4 plus 1. Okay, so whichever number that you want, or whichever size of piece that you're making this stitch pattern with, make sure it is sets of 4 plus 1 chain stitch at the end. Okay, so for me, I am going to chain 17. Once you have 4 sets plus 1 complete, we are going to add 3 more chains onto all the chains we had already worked. Okay, this is the 2 chains of the 3 is going to act as a half double crochet, and the 1 is for the chain gap. Okay, so we are going to go into the 4th chain stitch from the hook and work a half double crochet. Okay, so we have created some sort of V because 2 chains of the 3 act as a half double crochet, and the other chain, the 3rd chain, is for the chain gap. From here, I'm going to chain 4, and once I have all 4 chains, I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to skip 3 chains, and into the next stitch I'm going to work a half double crochet. Okay, so once I have my half double crochet done, I'm going to chain 1, and into this very same stitch I'm going to work another half double crochet. So I'll yarn over, get into that very same stitch and work a half double crochet. Okay, now I'm going to chain 4 and skip 3. Then I will work 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, just like that, and then I'll chain 1, work 1 half double crochet once again into this very same stitch. You see that? So once again I'm going to chain 4 and I will skip 3 and then work a half double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, work another half double crochet into this very same stitch. Now here you should be left with 4 stitches, so you will have to chain 4 and skip 3 into the very last stitch. You are going to work 1 half double crochet, chain 1, once again 1 half double crochet, all in that very same stitch, just like that. So this is our very first row, and the next 2 rows is what we are going to repeat for all that we need for this stitch. Okay, this is just a row to get us started because we are going to be working with some sort of like open shell stitch. So to start the next row, I will chain 5 and turn my work, and into the very first chain 1 space of the half double crochets I will work a double crochet, and then I will get into the next chain gap and work a single crochet. Okay, now from here I am going to skip all these stitches and get into the chain 1 space of the half double crochets. In there I'm going to work a double crochet, and then I'm going to chain 4, okay, and get into this very same chain 1 space and work a double crochet. Now I'm going to get into the next chain gap and I'm going to work a single crochet in there. So basically we have created an open shell. Now still I'm going to skip all these stitches and get into the chain 1 space of the half double crochets, work my double crochet, and I'm going to chain 4. Okay, so once I chain 4, I am going to work a double crochet once again in that very same stitch. So this is also another open shell. Okay, I'll get into the next chain gap and work my single crochet, yarn over, get into the next chain 1 space of the half double crochets, work a double crochet, and then chain 4. Into that very same stitch you work a double crochet, and then into the next chain gap you work a single crochet. You see that? Now yarn over, get into the last chain 1 space right there, work your double crochet, chain 2, and work a double crochet once again in that very same stitch. So basically you will find that our row started with 2 chains and ended with 2 chains. So that means half a shell is 2 chains, because a full shell is going to have 4 chains. So the next row we chain 1, turn our work, and work a single crochet into the very first stitch, skip all those stitches, get into the single crochet stitch and work your double crochet. Okay, I'm trying to be slow because it's a little bit confusing, but it's very easy. Chain 4, into that very same single crochet stitch you work a double crochet, get into the next chain gap and work a single crochet. Now yarn over, get into the next single crochet stitch right there, work your double crochet, and then chain 4, into that very same stitch you work a double crochet. And now we get into the next chain gap and work a single crochet. Yarn over, get into the next single crochet stitch and work a double crochet. So basically you already see that we are working our open shells in between the previous ones. Okay, so now here chain 4, into that very same single crochet stitch you worked, work your double crochet once again, just like that. And then into the next chain gap you work a single crochet. Yarn over, see what we have. So yarn over, into the next single crochet stitch you work your double crochet, chain 4, and into that very same stitch you work a double crochet once again. Now we are going to head over and work a single crochet into the third chain stitch of the 5 chains that started the previous row. So that second row and the third row is what we have to repeat for this stitch pattern. Okay, now I'm going to repeat these 2 rows once again, or the 2 steps once again, so you master them. For the next row we are going to chain 5. All right, that's what we did over here. Okay, 3 of the chains act as a double crochet stitch and the 2 are for the chain gap. And I said half a shell is 2 chains. Okay, so into the very first stitch we work our double crochet, and now we are going to head over into the next chain gap right there and work a single crochet in there. Now into the next single crochet stitch we work a double crochet, chain 4, work a double crochet once again in that very same stitch. Into the next chain 4 chain gap we work a single crochet, and then into the single crochet stitch, the next single crochet stitch we work a double crochet, and then chain 4, work a double crochet once again in this very same stitch. Work your single crochet into the next chain gap, and then into the next single crochet stitch we work a double crochet, chain 4, work a double crochet into that very same stitch, work your single crochet in the next chain gap, yarn over, get into this very last stitch, which was the single crochet that started the previous row, and work a double crochet, then chain 2, work another double crochet in that very same stitch. So we have ended with half a shell and started with half a shell. Okay, so now the next row, which is my last row, we chain 1, turn our work 1 single crochet into the very first stitch, then get into the next single crochet stitch and work a double crochet. Okay, chain 4, work a double crochet into this very same stitch, just like that, and then work a single crochet into the next chain gap, yarn over, work a double crochet into the next single crochet stitch, chain 4, work another double crochet into that very same stitch. All right, then work a single crochet into the next chain gap, yarn over, work a double crochet into the next single crochet stitch, chain 4, and work a double crochet into this very same into that very same stitch, which is the single crochet stitch, and then work your single crochet into the next chain gap, work a double crochet into the next single crochet stitch, chain 4, work a double crochet into that very same stitch, and then work a single crochet into the third chain stitch of the 5 chains that started the previous row. So basically this is it. You only have to repeat 2 steps. This is how easy this stitch pattern is. It is so easy. It is fast forming, it is not yarn consuming. Okay, just a little bit. Sometimes if you're working big projects like I was working a sweater, and I don't really remember how many. I think I used like 4 balls of yarn for that sweater, either 4, but let's say maximally 5 balls. So I've used a 4.5mm hook for this piece. You can see the difference. Okay, this sweater was worked with a 3.5mm hook. You can see the holes are a little small, a little smaller than what I have with a 4.5mm hook. Okay, so it's up to you, whichever coverage that you want. Okay, because if you have bigger holes, your project will be fast forming, so you will get done very fast and less yarn consuming. With the small holes, you will have to use more yarn. Okay, because you'll need more coverage, so that means more yarn and smaller holes. But the effect is really gorgeous for both of them. I like both of them. So the 4.5 is this. Okay, bigger holes, less yarn and fast forming. Then 3.5 is this, smaller holes, it will take a little more yarn than this. Okay, but it is really beautiful. I love small holes sometimes because most people don't want to like show too much. Okay, so that's why sometimes I prefer small holes. But yes, that is how you can get away with this stitch pattern. It's very simple. I am glad I found it and I got the result my client really wanted. She was so happy and I had to deliver her sweater just like she loved it. So yes, that's the stitch pattern. I hope to see you all in more stitch pattern videos. I am really thinking to bring more of these stitch patterns because honestly it is skill building and it's really, really good. So see you in the next stitch pattern that I get to land on and show you how to. Bye.